I was initiated unknowingly, and it has affected my life, and that is why I am where I am today. I have nothing to show for. I lost everything.
Carol was a prominent journalist of her time, interviewing famous musicians, actors, and entrepreneurs. But her life took a path of damnation when she accidentally interviewed evil spirits. There were times when Carol lived a luxurious life.
With doctors, morticians, mortuary attendants, and evil spirits. Let me just put it that way, because most of my colleagues were scared, but I was daring. So I remember at some point during my first interview, I was able to speak to evil spirits. But that was before I met my husband.
She used to make $500,000 from a music concert. She owned a house, a car, and a bus, but now everything is gone. The answer to the big why is witchcraft. Most of you do not believe in ghosts, spirits, or supernatural phenomena. But here we have a woman who made one wrong decision and then there was no coming back. From marrying a witch doctor's assistant to getting a chicken's blood transfused into her body.
And then he brought out a syringe and took the blood from the chicken and injected me with it. I was traumatized.
But how did she get caught in the web of evil spirits? How witchcraft damned her? Where does this whole story begin and where does it lead to in Carol's life? If you are curious to unravel Carol's life's mystery, stay with us in the video. But let me warn you in the beginning, this video is not going to be easy. Embrace yourself to witness one of its own kind of story of a woman who lost everything to witchcraft. Let's get started.
My names are Caroline Atieno Nyanga, popularly known as Caroline Nyanga, or CNN to fellow artists and my fans. And I'm a born-again Christian. I'm a mother of 2, a third born in a family of 6. When I went to India, I was only 18 years old at the time, I remember. And the kind of life that I led was not in accordance to the will of God. As in, we used to party a lot, 24 hours. We used to go out for beach parties, even 3 days non-stop.
There are many twists and turns in Carol's life. India happened to her in the beginning, the prime of her life. But she had no idea how this fun was almost going to cost her life. How well did you blend in with Indian culture?
Life was good. I used to, like I said, we used to party a lot, even though the Indian culture is a bit strange. You see, India is normally referred to as the center of the devil by many people due to their nature of worship. They worship cows, goats, and statues, almost 365 gods. So I used to accompany some of my Indian friends to go and worship with them the idols, I remember at the time, because I did not know what I was doing at the time.
Why did you go to India? What did you do there?
At the time when I went there, I was able to, my first degree was a Bachelor of Arts in Bachelor of Arts in Public Administration, Political Science and Psychology. That was my first degree within a period of 3 years. And then my second degree was Bachelor of Journalism for 1 year, and then Masters of Mass Communication and Journalism for another 1 year. That was 5 years. So by the time I was done, I was in my early 20s.
Knowing her rich education qualification, it makes me wonder more how something like witchcraft can destroy such a smart woman. Life does not go wrong just after a wrong decision. It is always a series of wrong decisions that move your life upside down. Something similar happened to Carol.
So when I was about to come home, I had an accident. It was a very serious accident. I remember I broke my femur, my leg, my back, and stuff like that. I didn't know it was that serious. But by the time I arrived at the hospital, Indian private wing, the doctor said that I had broken my femur and stuff like that. So I had to undergo a major operation, urgent one. It required my mom to come over and my elder sister, because my late mom at the time was a nurse. So my mom came over and my elder sister, I stayed in the hospital for a period of 1 month. At the time, the person who caused my accident came and apologized, and I forgave him. He was an Indian. And then a pastor came over and prayed and asked if I was ready to give my life to Christ. At the time, I was just giving my life to Christ because he told me that if I do, I'll be able to recover. So I was just doing it as a by the way. I was not serious. So I gave my life to Christ, and I remember people just dying in the hospital, and I was being transferred from one ward to another. So I underwent a major operation, but before that, my mom was told that I needed blood transfusion. So my mom had to, consent. You cannot be given blood without a parent's consent. So my mom agreed, and then I was transfused 12 pints of blood. And I went to blood transfusion, 12 pints of blood, like I said. And then I was given IVs, about 30. And then I was used to be given 8 injections per day for a period of 1 month. So from there, I was able to, my condition was better. And I remember during my stay in that hospital, I met a popular Luo musician by the name of Okachpigi, the late. And he was critically ill at the time. My late father is the one who introduced me to this man. I did not know him because I was young at the time. I only knew of the likes of the late Tupac Shakur, American rap and stuff like that. So after 1 month, my condition got worse, I remember. So I had to be taken to another government hospital, but it's a very big hospital, though the private wing section. My condition got worse, so I went there, and I was able to stay there for a period of about 3-4 months, I remember. At the time, I underwent a major operation still, blood transfusion, and then this time round, the operation that was being conducted on my body was to remove the plates. The first time in India was to insert the plates. When you have an accident and you're injured, you're fractured, they normally insert plates. So this time round was to remove the plates because I was in so much pain and suffering. So I remember the plates, I was transfused as usual, and then I went to the theater for 9 hours as usual, and then after that the plates were removed. And then there was a time I started bleeding for a period of 5 months, I remember, and I was told by servants of God that it's spiritual. So the doctors suggested that my uterus be removed, but I refused. I went to a neighboring country for prayers, and man of God prayed for me, and the bleeding stopped instantly, I remember. And then after that, I traveled back to Kenya. Now upon coming back, the bleeding came back a month later, but it was regulated to 3-4 days. You understand? 3, 4 or 5 days. Because that one was 5 months non-stop, I remember.
Such fatal accidents sometimes leave lifelong scars on people. Was your accident any different?
After about 3-4 months, I was discharged. But prior to my discharge, the doctor said that I would never walk, I would never give birth, and I would never dance. So this was very bad news for me at my tender age. So I remember my mom never lost hope as a nurse. A friend of hers advised her to take me to a traditional masua. That is a man who uses traditional medicine to massage or broken bones or to mend or fractures or something of the sort. So my mom took me there. It was in a place within Nyanza, a place called Kokuro. That one was huge. So I remember the first time when you go to his home, it's a family friend who introduced us to this man, and she lived just next to the man. So when I got there, upon arrival, I remember the guy had to break the fractures again. It was so painful. I think my mom took off. Actually, my mom took off at some point with her friend, but I was left there, and I was just, persevering because I wanted to get well at the time. All I wanted was to get well. So I remember after that, my mom came back, and this man assured my mom that all would be well. So the massage went on for a period of 5 months, I remember. So by the time it was done, I was able to walk at least, I remember.
When medicine fails, miracles pave their way in. So once you were back on your feet, how did life turn out then?
I was opportune to get a job with a popular media house at the time. I will not mention the name for personal reasons. So